Thanks for joining us again. Let me quickly show you what the top stories are on the papers. I just have two of them here. On the front page of the Punch, court refuses to stop Fayoshe's impeachment. That's on page 2. You want to find out what that's all about. Much of the front page of the Punch is actually sold out. So let's go to the Guardian newspaper. PDP, AP members rush to APC. Okay, Sheba Udu orders the Z ruling party in Ondo. Then Kwabo's aides, Onoja, quit in Gombe, Benue, and defectors worship gods of the belly, says Aliyu. You want to find out what that's all about? The front page of the Guardian here also shows General Muhammadu Buhari, president-elect, with Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, as well as Lamidu Adamawa, Alhaji Bakido Aliyu Mustafa, during a courtesy call to the palace in Yola in Adamawa State. Court restrains DSTV over hiked subscription fees. That's on page 3. Okonjo-Iweala makes Fortune's 50 greatest world leaders list. That's on page 5. Now the question might be, how long will she stay there? We want to find out also. The count is on the Guardian. It's day 360. Bring back our girls. How psychological tests on pilots can reduce intentional plane crashes. That's on page 2 of the Guardian. All right, we'll turn our attention to our focus on security this morning. I'm joined by security consultant Richard AMUWA on the show today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for finding time to come.
I'm excited to be here.
Let me quickly intimate you with happenings in Ekiti State. We've been following it now since, I think, Monday. I won't be calling our correspondent, but I'll be showing you pictures. And I think we should start from F1.
Okay.
The blockade of the 19 APC lawmakers at the Itaure Junction and the subsequent return to Osun State has begun to raise issues. Now, the killing of one Temitope Olaya at F1 Junction has also pitched the state government against the All Progressives Congress. This is coming as Ekiti APC calls for the arrest of the SA2 Ayo Fayoshe, Larry Olayinka, alongside some of the PDP PRO thugs allegedly arrested around the House of Assembly complex. Meanwhile, the silence of the police is also a source of concern in the state. Earlier, we've been talking about the role of the police and the military in all of this. But let's hear some of the stakeholders out in this soundbite.
The person who fired the shot was Honorable Gabriel Okundele, a member of the House of Assembly. They were shooting indiscriminately. They were firing at every object, and they fired at Modupe and killed them.
If there should be any death, if there should be any victim arising from yesterday taking over of Ekiti by the hoodlums, it is the government of Ekiti, led by the governor and the PDP, that should be held responsible, because our party members, our legislators were not involved in any gunshot.
The protest was even peaceful, so there was no need for police harassment and embarrassment.
The person actually hit me, but at the end of the day, we were taken to the state CIB at Inyo Road, where we explained to the officer in charge what actually happened, on the basis of which we were released almost immediately.
The police should seriously, as a matter of urgency, invite Larry, among others, for questioning and interrogation. And some of the people that were arrested yesterday, it is very obvious, even by what the police have shown on television everywhere, that they were actually carrying guns. They are the perpetrators. They are the people behind any crisis that may have happened in Ekiti yesterday.
Well, it's obvious that the ongoing political crisis in Ekiti State has taken a new twist. This time around, both parties seems to be recruiting more soldiers in what has been described as a political war. Now, let me show you the side of the Students' Union. For instance, the leadership of the National Association of Nigeria Students has passed its comment on the impasse that has engulfed the state. They seem to be on the side of the 19 APC lawmakers. We spoke with them, and of course, also speaking with the school, the university organization. The student body took the fight to the doorstep of the government, ordering the state to pay the striking workers of the Ekiti State University. This, however, was passed as distortion of fact by the state government. Let's find out what they have to say.
The garment of honor will wear a cap of disgrace. We have noted with keen interest the ongoing political development in Ekiti State. Therefore, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, welcomes and throws our weight behind all legal and legitimate moves to restore sanity and dignity to governance in Ekiti State.
Is owing the mandate in a trust for Ekiti people. They claim to have served the governor impeachment. Their so-called impeachment notice was served in the online newspaper.
The industrial action at the State University is resolved within the shortest possible time towards ensuring that our students resume within the next 7 days. Contrary to this, we shall mobilize our forces for a maximum showdown on the government of Ekiti State.
Ayo Fayose administration is not owing Ekiti State University. Our administration is not owing any of them subvention. We have paid to date.
We're hoping to be joined also by the Special Advisor to Ayodele Fayose on information subsequently in the course of the show. If you can't make it, I understand it's coming all the way from Ekiti, then we'll host him on our 2015 election studio later this afternoon. Richard AMUWA, you've seen the blood, you saw the dead, you heard the rioting. What do you make of all of this?
It's unfortunate. Let me tell you, as a security consultant, these are the things I've been preaching against since Mr. Fayose assumed office. I want to say that Mr. Fayose assumed office at the time that I thought he's supposed to call all the political parties, whether PDP, APC, whatever, and call them as brothers. See, it was obvious that, according to a report that was, it was voted in overwhelmingly, and people wanted him in. He would have used that opportunity to say, okay, no matter what, let's resolve all the grievances and other stuff. But the way it carried on, at a point, I was looking at the security implication of what Mr. Governor was doing in Ekiti, and I told myself, this thing is going to resolve to a point where there are going to be fracas. Do you know why? You have 19 members of APC who are in the legislature. Listen to me very well here. Nigerians do not understand the power of legislators. Legislators happen to be the people that represent people. They are our mouthpiece in the house. A governor is just an executive to carry action, to execute whatever the legislators would have come up with. So, sometimes we focus so much on the governor, the president, and all those guys, and we seem not to understand that members of House of Assembly, who are the legislators, they are very powerful. So, if I have a member of a legislator from my own constituency representing me, meaning that whatever I want, I go to him and say, this is what's happening, this is not happening. So for Mr. Fayose not to recognize the power of those 19 men when he assumed office, it was not really, it was not really good. Again, I thought as a statesman that he needed to be, he would have gone underneath, speak with the Obas, speak with all the necessary people in the state to see how can we get these people involved. Not forgetting that election is around the corner. But these guys have between now and May 9, 29. And May 29 is a long way. So serving Fayose an impeachment notice right now, once it's impeached, the next thing he's going to do is to go to court. And go to court, you're not going to be on the seat. So with all this that is happening right now, you could see that all the people that actually voted for him, people that loved him in the past, people that wanted him to, you know, to be a governor, they're not backing him. Most of his supporters are leaving him right now. Not with the shootings, not with, yesterday it was in all the newspaper how some of his commissioners were carrying, you know, arms and other stuff. But I think that quickly PDP need to call Fauci to order. Mr. President, you know, Jonathan, you need to call Fauci and let them quickly resolve this issue.
But let's also look at the role that the 19 APC lawmakers have played in this. Because prior to this time, of course, we understood the morality behind 7 lawmakers suspending 19. But that was the status quo before now, not until Muhammadu Buhari was declared president-elect, and then they came in some sort of a comeback commando style, stormed the House of Assembly. Was that the right approach?
You see, those are the impunity we keep talking about in this country. When Nigeria was asking for change, I keep saying it, this change we're asking for, it's a whole lot of things. How on earth will a 7-member of House of Assembly impeach a speaker? And again, because they have to them, you see, the problem, and I'm praying that now that the APC is in power, you know, elected, that president elected, they're going to be in power from May 29. If there's anything they should do, is to do away with this impunity. And Mr. President-elect, I've been saying it, and he keeps saying it. Let me answer your question. Now, it seems that they have power now. Yeah, they're going to have power. What the 7 men were thinking initially was what? Was the fact that they do what? They had Mr. President backing them. They have everything back, you know, in their power. But under normal circumstances, under anything, whether you are in power or you are not in power, everybody's right is supposed to be what? We're supposed to understand everybody's right. So the 19 men now find out, okay, now we're in power, or we're going to be in power. We have the whatever we can do. Don't forget again that what is giving them morale is because of their president-elect. So even though they know that they're not going to come back, come this election, this Saturday election, but they're still there till May 29. Do you understand? So the whole thing is that those are the things we need to stop. Any country that loves security, okay, for example, they were coming to the, according to report, they were supposed to sit, was it not last week? The army, the police stopped them. The fact that they said they wrote to the Nigerian police in Ekiti and that they are coming, yet they were not protected. So those are the things I think we need to change. We should institutionalize our security institution. We should let them be free, let them do what they can do. Today, a Nigerian do not feel safe because they feel that he has no security. But those people are supposed to work for us. Army, now, I keep saying it. Army have got themselves involved in politics, which is very sad. I don't know what I read it. I read this in one of the dailies yesterday that Mr. President-elect certificate have been found. I don't know whether you heard that. So where did the certificate come from? You see, all those are the things we need to kill in this country. Let's remove sentiment, remove ethnicity, remove religions, all those things. Let's be one. The moment all those things are not removed, insecurity will continue to thrive in Nigeria. People seem not to appreciate the peace we are having right now. They don't appreciate it. They need to go to northeast and go and spend time with people whose life have been cut short, and they will now appreciate what we're enjoying in the southwest here. So I don't think that what is happening in Ekiti right now should be stopped.
I want us to also begin to look at the role of the military vis-a-vis the role of the Nigerian police, because for the 19 APC lawmakers, they seem to have enjoyed some level of support from the State Police Commission in that part of the country. But on the contrary, the Nigerian military, has been on the opposing side. For instance, the name that comes to mind is General Momo, who was also indicted in the leaked Ekiti audio tape. But before we get into that, let's find out the position of Governor Ayo Fayose, who was speaking. MCR, if you can get us that very quickly now. He was speaking earlier this week, talking about what the conduct of PDP members should be in the light of the impeachment notice.
To theater of war. Because of their violence, I had to put up curfew yesterday and day before yesterday. Today I'm lifting the curfew because of our Christian brothers, sisters that want to celebrate Easter. And I've directed that the curfew be lifted. They should tell them and tell them very clearly, any act of violence will be resisted. My name is Ayo Fayoshi. I want to assure them we will not tolerate that violence. And I want to warn PDP members, don't go into violence, but defend yourself. Violence, but defend yourself.
All right, we've heard that several times. I mean, what really does it mean when politicians, because it's not only limited to the Garden of Ekiti, we've heard it across party lines where they will say, well, don't involve in violence, but ensure that you defend yourself.
It's as much as telling them to go and fight. Now, don't be the one to cause the violence, but defend yourself. Meaning again that if they come, attack back, which is still very wrong. Still very wrong. In security, you don't say such thing. If, for example, as a security person, and you ask me that, no, I shouldn't go to fight, but when it comes to defend myself, all you are saying is to encourage your men when you are attack back. You are not just using that word. You see, our politicians should desist from all these things. For me, just watching that video, I saw a whole lot of arrogancy, a whole lot of pompousness. No, as a leader, I think our leaders need to go and do some courses on leadership for them to understand what it means to be a true leader. You see, some people find their way into leadership that they never thought they would, they could ever in their life get to that position. So they don't know how to manage it. So, in whole Nigerians, as we are electing people, I think, are we voting right? That's the thing.
Let me quickly just take this call. I'm opening the phone lines right now. When you call it in, please turn down the volume of your TV set so we can hear you clearly. What's your name? And where are you calling from?
This is Emeka calling from Animation.
All right, Emeka, please go ahead with your contribution.
All right, I want to thank that gentleman you speaking. He has said it too. Actually, I just want to compliment on what he has been saying. I wait for this country, but I believe it's a new beginning with the Buhari incoming government. Everything will stop. It is impunity. We should not support impunity. It has been the problem in this country. Let's rule of law. Let's maintain it. Impunity everywhere. Look at Vayoshi. Looking at, I just saw this video now. Look at the way he's talking. Pompous, arrogant, a governor. It is not good. Honestly, it's not good. I weep. As I am, I'm bitter. I'm supposed to be happy for this new incoming government. But looking at Fayoshi, people like Fayoshi, they will make this democracy speaker for this issue continue. Now, let the rule of law take it God. If it matters for them to pick it, fine. If it does not matter for them to pick it, we should leave it. But whichever, nobody should interfere. Being the military, being whoever, even the president should stay out of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mekha, calling from Ali Mosho. Well, the man at the center of all of this also would be Adewale Omiri, who is the speaker, of course, of the 19 APC lawmakers. I really don't know how to categorize them now. There are two different factions. Let's hear him out earlier this week talking about their position and their plans to impeach the governor.
Leader will be creating anarchy himself. That is why I called the Inspector General about the other time that if I were to be in the forum where they were signing a peace accord, I would have allowed my party to sign it because it's the governor that is causing the problem in the state. I see him as a wicked man. We are elected to lead our people. He's a leader and most of us are leaders. If he could seek the salary of all of us for the past 5 months, a leader does not behave that. A good leader will not behave that way. So I don't see him as somebody who is worthy of the position.
Adewale Omiri, he is the Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, of course, the 19 APC lawmakers faction. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from? Ibrahim from Ogba. Can you speak louder so we can hear you clearly?
I'm calling from Ogba, Lagos.
All right, go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yeah, the problem in Ekiti is a problem created by PDP. Ordinarily, the crisis between the 19 and the 7 came up. They're supposed to have come up immediately and resolve that matter and allow the rule of law to prevail.
Yeah.
But as it is now, I think President Goodluck Jonathan is still on ground. The president-elect is also on ground. Two of them to put heads together and find a lasting solution to this crisis. And the solution, to my own understanding, is to allow the rule of law to prevail. Yeah. Because that is the procedure that will clear that crisis. Because if somebody is saying that they should forgive the fire, if somebody else tomorrow will come off and do something more serious than what the governor of the state is doing, I think the best thing is to call the all parties together, let the rule of law prevail. And once that one is taking place, it will serve as a precedent to other people who might be behaving the way the case governor is behaving. One should not be biased. This is not an issue of whether you are an APC or you are a PDP.
That's right.
The issue is what is the fundamental law about the House of Assembly that is on ground before it came up. And why did they divide the House of Assembly into two, 7 against 19? At least the arithmetic is very simple for it. Even the primary school students to understand that 19 is better than 7. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for your contribution. Now, we have to also begin to look at other issues, but let's talk about how to ensure security of lives and property. Earlier in those clips, you saw blood, you saw people dying already for this cause. And I think the most pathetic part would be that there are people now taking sides. You see NANS, you see the student union taking sides with the APC lawmakers. You see women there mourning their loss already, and it's so very unfortunate. How do we ensure that these do not deteriorate into massive loss of lives and property in Ekiti State?
I think security agencies just do their work. They should not cite anybody. They should just allow the rule of law to prevail. Let the 19 members sit. Let's just have things done normally in Ekiti. Right now, is it Major General Momo, standing in for the governor there, and the police want to do their job. But you can see that the police hands are tied. But under normal circumstances, whose role is it to protect people there? It's supposed to be the police. The police are the one who's supposed to say, okay, you come and sit, we're going to protect you, and you do your normal job. But since we have army protecting one side and the police is not just keeping calm, it's going to continue. And I think Mr. President need to call Mr. Fauci to order right now that you should just allow the rule of law to reign in that place. But like I keep saying again, like what our last caller said, I think we need to start looking at whenever APC comes to power, whoever is let us just have a free level playing ground. Let Nigeria, this change I'm talking about, I hope when people say change, they don't understand this, the power of change. Power of change is massive. Whether it is APC or it's PDP, once you are doing what is right, take your day. But once you are doing what is wrong, you should be punished for it. So, Mr. President, now I've seen a whole lot of people decamping to APC right now. The same people from another party. To me, I know Mr. President very well. As a young man, I know when he was, I'm talking about President-elect. I know some things he can do. He's a man of integrity. We've all read about it. Some of us know about it. Whether you are APC or whether you are PDP or any party that you belong to, once there's impunity, you should just call them to order. That's just my own.
Let me take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Soji Balijo. I'm calling from Ipaja.
Soji from Ibaga.
I'm calling from
Ipaja.
I'm calling from Ipaja.
It's all right. Please go ahead with your contribution, Soji.
I think the Ekiti Gate, as I can call it, Ekiti Gate. Yeah, I think the Ekiti Gate, as I can call it. I think the point there, the two parties are supposed to be blamed because the two parties, both the governors and the lawmakers, are elected to make the state more peaceful, not to cause trouble. And before the two of them start showing off, there will be no peace in that state. So the two of them, the two parties should be called to order. Fine, it's a very tough man, fine. But the lawmakers too are not ready to back down. They both want to remember that our demand is the chief executive of that state. So they have to sit down together and settle this thing amicably. Now, who is in us now? It is the
great to hear from you, Sadi from Lagos. Let's begin to also look at, let's turn our attention to Lagos, for instance. Talking about the comments accredited to the Oba of Lagos, Obarulu, and Akiolu.
Yeah.
What would you say is the security implication of such statement?
The security implication is obvious. It's really obvious, but I don't want to overflow that issue again because we have I've spoken about it. Some of us have
you have dissected it.
But the point here is that he has said that's not what he meant.
Okay.
And I told Nigerians, for whoever that is listening to me, I'm an Igbo man. I'm from South South. My mom is Igbo. So if I thought there's anything, I should be part of the people to be upset. But I know Yoruba very well because I've been in Yoruba land since I was 5 years old. Oba would have used Yoruba to say what he said. Would have used, yeah. If you go to China, you go to Hong Kong, you go to any part of the world that don't speak English, they still use your language to speak and interpret. So I think Nigerians leaders need to understand. It's not until you speak English that before people know that you can speak English. You can use your language to talk to national television or to address some things and let interpreter interpret it. What Oba, from the explanation he gave at the end of the day, was that they have given to the Igbos. They expect Igbos to give back to them. Like in Lagos does not use ile okun. That's what they use. Or like the other side, they say entiba dale abale lo. But here entiba dale in Lagos abukun lo. So if you have said that, fine. But where I felt bad about what Oba said again was the fact that he's the one that brought Ambode and people should move. You don't need to get to all that. You can just leave those ones and just talk with the Igbos. That's all. Just have your meeting and tell them, okay, let them go out home and decode what you are saying. And again, KBSU, this is not the first time KBSU will say such, come up with some utterances. I think it's a set man. It's somebody we respect. In Yoruba land, we respect our Obas, we respect our king, respect those people. So I think that if my Igbo brothers are listening right now, I think we need to forgive and move on. It's not speaking for the party. Sincerely, it's not speaking for the party. The party have come up to apologize on behalf of Oba and Oba too. Like I tell people, you are my friend. If I hear that you said something and you come before me and say you didn't say it, I'll believe you. So if Oba could say this is not what I meant or this is not what I said, we should believe him, even though it sounds to us watching the video and listening to the audio what the literal meaning to us. So that's my own take about that. But the security implication is really it's intense. It's part of those comments we're saying let's not go there, all the hate speech, all the hate comments. We need to be stopped.
Let's look at the position of the PDP about this. For instance, Jimmy Agbade released a letter, I believe, this morning, and an excerpt of it here says that I encourage each and every one of you to come out and vote. And after you vote, defend it against those who might be planning mischief. The word defend keeps coming up every now and then.
You see, okay, let me explain. If I want to explain defend it in security, it means a lot. It means, for example, listen to me. It means that if, for example, people want to if after voting and people are coming to do whatever, defend it. It could be physically or it could be your presence just being there. But I think what Jimmy meant is stay there and watch and make sure that your vote counted.
Okay.
About being physical. But the layman out there will think he is saying if I feel or I'm feeling rigged out or anything is happening, I should go and be physical. So we need to break down that defend that they keep saying. So I'm saying it for those who are listening to us right now. What the politicians are saying is not for you to go there and fight. It's for you to be there and make sure that those votes are counted.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, I want to speak to the president.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from my figure.
What's your name, brother?
My name is Ofo.
Ofo, please turn down the volume of your TV set and go ahead with your contribution.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Ofo, go ahead.
Okay. What I want to say about this thing. You see, okay. What I want to say about this problem. The gentleman over there, you see, Nigeria today, we want peace in Nigeria. I get my point.
Yeah.
You see, what I'm seeing in that is that APC wants to take power by all means. They don't want PDP to exist. I get my point. Okay, look at it now. Look at the people coming all over the whole place. APC is busy doing the campaign, trying to take over more states. See, when PDP we were in Abuja, let me go there on the head. APC is really peacefully. That's the whole problem. I don't think one party system in Nigeria will not work. We need to build up to 10 political parties. I get my point.
Yes.
This one, for us, the most important thing is just the way forward. How to develop Nigeria, how to make the country prosper. All parties are everywhere suffering.
It's all right.
I get my point. So what we want is let the peace in the state. Let the House of Assembly member from APC relax. Yeah, all they want to do is to achieve one goal. To develop the state, to make things moving. Not to pitch a fire and say, man must be ahead. No. Fire will be election, peacefully. So let the House of Assembly member continue their job and allow the transition to finish his tenure.
It's all right, Afo. Thank you very much for your contribution from Lagos. Let's also begin to look at...
I want to quickly correct something. I think people are forgetting that if Fauci is impeached today, based on the accusations, it's not a PC person that's going to become governor. It's the same PDP. So people, they need to understand that the governorship is not taken away from PDP.
Obviously, the deputy governor.
The deputy governor, and if the deputy is impeached too, maybe the speaker or somebody else of the majority member of the that's going to be constituted by May 29. So they need to understand that. To me, it's just that let's kill the impunity in the system. If the impunity is just too much, we want a situation where those leaders think they are alpha and omega. No.
Another election is less than 48 hours away, and the concern of people this time is the security, because we already went through the first phase, which was the presidential. To an extent, many would say that it was relatively peaceful, especially the icing on the cake was Mr. President conceding defeat even before the official pronouncement of the result. The police authorities this time now have also noted that there are some flashpoints in the country, and they have devised strategies to address all the issues of safety and security. Before the March 28 election, the flashpoint areas were Lagos, Kaduna, and Rivers. Do you see any other states springing up, adding to the number?
I'm looking at Edo State. I'm looking at Imo. No, those are the states I feel that they really want to. You see, let me tell you one thing. We have a peaceful election not just because Mr. President conceded defeat immediately. I told people, that is one of the really ice on the cake. But the fact that people wanted just to vote and want peace, that one is another one. But this coming election comes Saturday. It's going to be a different scenario. Do you know why? Because right now, within a state, you have 2 or 3 camps. One camp for this party, one camp for that party, and everybody wants to. For example, let me take Lagos for example. Since Monday, it's really been hot here. PDP wants it, APC want continuity. Now, I'm going to tell people, whoever that wins is to serve us. Sincerely. And people, we need to continue to drum this to our people to understand that politicians, they have one common interest, and that common interest is their own interest. Sincerely. I'm not going to stay here and tell you to vote for this or vote for that, but you should know who to vote for. And again, if you think that it's not coming your own way, please, I will say please, let's not cause any violence.
You're asking them to follow the path of the incumbent president.
That's it.
To concede defeat.
To concede defeat, and that's it. Come out and make a broadcast, and let's move on. There's another 4 years, and you will take over again if there's opportunity.
At least Buhari tried 3 times. This was his 4th time and he won.
So that's
probably politicians can take a cue from that.
That's an example that all of us need to imitate. No.
Let's look at the statement from the police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu. He says that the IDP has equally directed all operatives on election duty to be firm but approachable. I think that's the thin line.
Yes,
because
approachable.
We have situations
that's
where
what we say in security. We say be polite and be firm. Be polite and be firm. But most time we are not. Most of the security agents are not polite. They are just firm. So now it's reminding them be polite and be firm. That's the word. But again, some of the lapses we saw in the last presidential election is not really from the security agencies. It's from the INEC cost house, where there's no result sheet. I listened to the commissioner of Mr. Igini in Edo State saying that before they left the commission's office, every polling center has a result sheet. How come they got there? There's no result sheet again. So meaning that some people in the INEC, either as a cost staff or as a whatever they are called,
there were most.
No, that's it. So the point here again, those are the people that can cause issues. Look at River State. How come there's no result sheet in most of these polling centers? So we're gonna. I think even the IG need to call, Mr. Professor Jaga, and Professor Jaga need to call all, his commissioners, so that they could make sure that if they do their own part, I'm telling you, we will do our own part. But the situation where we want to do our own part and they are not doing their part, you can imagine me getting to my polling center and there's no result sheet. That one will lead to violence. So this issue of violence is encompassing. It's all of us, the INEC, the people that are going to vote, and the people we're electing.
Let's quickly also go over to check out what the federal government is saying, especially in northeast Nigeria. The coordinator of National Information Center, Mike Omeri, is informing residents in northeast Nigeria to beware of Boko Haram striking soft targets ahead the Saturday gubernatorial and State House of Assembly election. He said this at a news conference in Abuja, where he also reaffirmed government's commitment to stemming the tide of insurgent attacks.
Coming governorship and state assembly elections, we remind the citizens to maintain a similar, even higher level of vigilance and caution to ensure a peaceful and incident-free exercise. You will note that the military's real successes in regaining control of Boko Haram's stronghold in Borno State is a testament to our troops' unwavering commitment to defeating insurgency. Reclaiming Nigerian territories and establishment of an atmosphere of peace and safety remains the government's top priority.
Michael Merida, coordinator of the National Information Center. In your informed opinion, it looks as if was it the regional force that worked, or Boko Haram was also studying the elections in Nigeria? They seem to have gone quiet for a while.
Sincerely, that 6 weeks postponement really worked. I need to give it to the Chadians, the Niger, the Cameroonians, and Nigerian army. They really tried. But sometimes I ask myself, why did we wait that long? But the point here is that even without him saying this, I think our brothers and sisters in the Northeast need to, every time, not about the election, every time be security conscious, because they change their strategy. The strategy now, they are coming from home with team. Instead of come with team among them, set, ready, and just go and blow herself or himself up. So again, I think they need to work with Nigerian police and Nigerian army. I mean, talking about the people, because these people live among them now. They're not coming from Sambisa anymore. They are not coming from any forest. So where are they coming from? Among them. So if they notice, I'm not even talking to only people in the Northeast right now. I'm talking to all Nigerians. When you notice something and you feel that you're not comfortable with that, talk about it. For those of us in Lagos, we're very lucky. We have 767 or 112 we can easily call. How many Nigerians know the numbers of their DPOs? Yeah, we all have DPO. DPO are divisional police officer who supposed to be like a commissioner of police, but is a DPO in your own locality. Commissioner of police is the head of the head of the state, police. But DPO is the head of his own division. So it's a man with character, a man of integrity. So I'm encouraging people to have the numbers of their DPOs. And when you see that your DPO is not really like what I've just said, you can report it. You can just send a text to the commissioner of police. Go online and Google. Even IG's line is online. But many Nigerians know these things. You see, I'm saying it. Nigerians will hold this change in our hand. The change we are talking about is not with Mr. President-elect. It's with all of us. Doing the right thing. Making sure that when your right is being oppressed, you know how to channel your complaint. Not taking laws into our hands. The moment everybody sees what is wrong and you report it, and you see that things are changing. But the situation where all you are doing is government. I think for me, if I have an opportunity to be part of this coming government in my own little corner, in my own little private way, what I'm going to do is to educate Nigerians. I found out that the whole lot of Nigerians, I'm sorry to say it, we are, most of us, 95 illiterate when it comes to governance. I'm telling you. We just all we think is government. We don't know our rights, and those of us who know our rights, we don't know how to channel it.
We're not aware of the role we're supposed to play.
At all. We don't know the role to play. We still see a situation where, in the past, where an IG of police who were using my own money, my tax money, to pay him, we come out of say things. No. I'm going to tell you. I'm telling Nigerians. Mr. President-elect, he has a whole lot of job to do to institutionalize most of these security agencies. And again, I don't want Mr. President-elect to get there now. The DSS become his own property. The police become his own property. And the army, no. It should make it possible that those institutions are institutions.
Well, before this time there were talks about state police. Do you foresee this new administration flying that?
That would be sweet. That would be awesome. That would be great, because I'm an advocate of state police, knowing what state police will do, but we are not matured yet, Nifemi. If, for example, Ekiti have a state police as I'm talking to you, Fayose will overdo things. Except we begin to have members of legislators who can hold their own, who can look up to their governor and say, no, sir. But a situation where legislators are on seats because
they are the executives back and forth.
Exactly, because the governor has sponsored their elections. What do you expect? So for now, Nigerians is not mature for state. In fact, at a point, I think we should start with community policing. If Mr. President-elect gets to power immediately now, I think the first thing he should do is to recruit graduates to that system. Let's recruit. Do you know that, as I'm telling you right now, we don't have close to 500,000 men in the police, and we are close to 170 million. So tell me, and as I'm talking to you right now, go to the streets of Lagos. You hardly see a policeman on the street. They are attached to the politicians. They are attached to the banks. They are attached to the beer parlors. They are attached to hotels. They are attached to malls. So who is protecting you and I? Nobody. So we need to. I keep telling people, police institution, police job is a beautiful job. I've traveled out of this country. I've seen people say, I want to become a British police. I want to become an American police. How come in Nigeria we don't like it? Do you know why? Because that institution have not been made to look good. A whole lot of people in the police today are occupational. Occupational is saying that they don't have job, so they just want to get a living. I want a situation where we want a professional police officers. People, whether you are paid or you're not being paid, but you know that this is my calling. Like me right now, I'm a security person. I go everywhere, I tell people, I'm a security guard. I'm ready to do my job. But the point here is that we need Nigerians to really understand that police are our friends.
No, I know that you're a security guy, because I can't forget the day you came with a pepper, a pepper spray pen, and then we could not be ourselves again. But let's look at the conduct of the electorate around the polling units prior to the March 28 election. There were much talks about the position of the IGP, saying that after you vote, just go and cool down. Of course, unlike his position, really, the electorate during the presidential election did otherwise. They stood with effort. But what is the security implication of having voters hang around the polling unit after exercising their franchise?
Okay, I want to put it in two ways. If I do know that March 28th, election was supposed to stop by around 4, 5 o'clock, around 4 o'clock, if everything had gone well. But you know that some election went into 11:30 p.m. and people had to go and bring generator to put on. It was like a community, a communal thing.
You're saying what would have happened if they had just voted and left?
You understand? So the point here is that people staying, but they are staying with maturity. For example, my own center, a whole lot of daddies, a whole lot of mommies. I don't see kind of those people fomenting trouble. But if you are in a volatile area, sensitive area, when you know that this area, they are almotas, they are this, they are that, and you know you are a gentleman, and you feel that I cannot stand this heat, I will advise you to leave. Sincerely, I know some area they hire canopy, and you see them drinking pet, drinks and all that stuff, and they are hanging out. Not just, I saw some police center where people actually were helping the electoral officers in cleaning people's hands, in washing their hands, in making sure that the candidate works. Nigerians really want to participate, which is good. So a situation where you see people want to participate, you don't say violent. It is a situation where people are angry with the system. But right now, as it is right now, they're not angry with the system. So I think I'm going to see less violence. But where the violence is going to occur is the fact because of the sharp division between most parties in some states. How some states want to stay back, and how some states, some people want to take over. So there's going to be sharp disagreement. And that sharp disagreement, I want electorate to read between lines, to watch and see. Is my polling booth sensitive? Am I safe in this my polling booth? When you hear people talk, are they saying things that can cause trouble? Don't forget, you have only one policeman and one civil defense man, unarmed. So, if you are there, be patient, be calm, but be security alert. Know what is happening in your environment. Look at the kind of mood, especially after you voted. I always tell you, if you cannot wait, go to your home. If you can wait, fine, but don't cause any trouble. For me, I don't wait. I've exercised my right. I've done that, and God understands.
Well, the IGP also talked about the police being what they call it now. They say the leading law enforcement agency as far as election is concerned. Of course, we also saw some skeletal involvement of the Nigerian military during the just concluded March 28 election, except for some pockets of reports where officials of the Nigerian military were reported to have gone a bit closer to the polling units. But how would you describe the involvement of the military, for this election?
We've always said it's military are not supposed to be part of election, but as a security person, with the situation we have in our hand in Nigeria, the military can always be involved, but not at a close range, but at a situation where they are from afar. For example, what happened on March 28th, you could see them in Maryland, you could see them around Ojota, around K2 and all those areas. You see, sincerely, sometimes, you see, because we don't trust our leaders, when our leaders want to even do things to protect his people, we don't believe, because in the past we've heard that they have hurt us in some of their actions. When the president, that's Jonathan, asked the military to be part of this, he's not saying this because he wants to use them to rig election, just because of things we have seen in the past that inform our opinion, that inform what we say, that no, we don't want them. A situation, you walk on the street of Lagos, Abuja, anywhere in Nigeria, you see the police carrying AK-47. In UK, you don't see that, because the crime level there is different. But can you imagine if you not say no, they should not carry AK-47 on the streets of Lagos? My brother, some of us will know. Just last 2 weeks in Ondo State, simply because the election was hot and the police were out there to help out. You know that the whole state, I mean the whole town in Owo was left to the hoodlums. And for 2 hours, armed robbers went there and operated about 4 banks, robbed 4 banks. So what I'm saying is that military helping the police matters a lot. For the fact that we don't know, Nigerians don't even respect policemen. So they feel that this is you see policeman. Honestly, I can't stop saying the fact that police institutions need to be, we need to visit it again and institutionalize it. A whole lot has happened. And I keep saying it and I'll keep saying it. I'm advocate of the fact that now this coming government need to look at the Nigeria police institutions and see what to do.
Many are also talking about the role of private security operatives in all of this. I understand there were limitations. The police, I believe, talked about not citing any of them around the polling units, and certainly telling politicians not to go about with private security. But what should be their involvement?
When you talk about private security, you're talking about me. I run a security business. But you see, I keep saying it. It is in Nigeria you see private security. They are in every nook and cranny of Nigeria. They are the highest employer of Nigerians. Meaning they know every nook and cranny because they are there. How come we're not using them in this part of the world? Go to South Africa. You see all these local governments you see standing on the road, standing on the ice, arresting. It is private security use. I just said it on air here that we have less than 500,000 policemen. So if you, as a leader or as a political person, you have a private security person as a bodyguard, you say I should not follow you. You see, I think those are the things we're going to be revisiting. And let me tell you, I should say it on here, I'm the spokesperson of the Private Security Association of Nigeria. So one thing we're going to go tell President-elect is the fact that private security should be involved in security of this business.
But how do we ensure that the private security operatives are not partisan?
You see, that's the point. They're not going to be partisan if you have the enabling laws. If you have things on... See, let me tell you, why we are doing what we are doing today in Nigeria is because that's impunity. I'm telling you the truth. Especially in federal level where you said 7 is higher than 26. When governors are to be, what's it called again? What was it? What's it called again?
The Nigeria Governors Forum.
The Nigeria Governors Forum.
17 higher than 19.
Okay, that's it. We are looking. So we sit back in our home, we watch, and we see impunity. And you think in your own little corner, you don't want to exercise the same impunity. The moment the whole thing stopped, as a private security man, you give me an assignment, I will do it the way it's supposed to be done. That's why even in the market, a trader, all those guys, they want to do their own thing because they feel that there's no law. But in a situation where there's law, what happened? Everything we do what? We fall into place. I still remember as a young boy, when Buhari was in power, when we were queuing for everything, he brought sanity to Nigeria. As a young boy, that's why I knew that I could kill to buy things in the store. I could kill to get anything done. When I was in UK at the airport, I saw Nigerian ministers. I saw Nigerian leaders killed by my side, in my front, at my back, doing what? Stamping their passport, doing everything. But in Nigeria, do they do that? Carrying their own bag. So we need to get to that in Nigeria, where things are done. Whether you are Oga or Moshe, everybody knows their rights.
That's all right. Let's take a short break here, and we'll be back with a final lap of the show. Don't go away.
The army was not supposed to be visible or to be around any polling unit unless there is a breakdown of law and order and they have been invited by the Inspector General of Police.
That elections are sheltered in Africa is no news. But in Nigeria, it comes with consequences.
Against the will of one man.
Consequences that have toggled the nation's politics and may shape how Nigeria elects.
This is the year of PDP.
The momentum gathers.
When we promise, we deliver.
The fireworks is unending.
We did it and continue to do it.
55 years this year, and in her fourth republic, this is Nigeria's 5th general elections. All the action, all the news, the updates, and the news behind the news we will bring to you live from the field and in the studio on Core TV News as Nigeria elects.